Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
Have you ever felt like the moment you finally understand a new AI tool, like the exact moment you finally get your workflow perfectly dialed in, an entirely new mind-blowing version just drops the very next day?
Oh, it is genuinely exhausting. I mean, it feels like you're constantly sprinting at full capacity just to stay at the starting line.
Right. And if you are listening to this right now feeling that exact same fatigue, you are definitely not alone.
No, not at all. It's a very universal feeling right now.
Yeah, and that actually brings us to the core of today's deep dive. We are looking at Philip Chen's new article published exactly today, August 5th, 2026, in the AI World Journal.
Such a good piece.
It really is. And the title just hits right at the heart of this tension. It asks the exact question we are all quietly thinking, which is AI showing results or is it moving too fast?
Which is, I mean, that is the defining question of the year.
Yeah, exactly. So we are going straight into the deep end today. The mission here is to cut through all the relentless, deafening hype of this trillion-dollar global race. We are going to uncover whether artificial intelligence is actually delivering measurable, concrete business results, or, if the entire tech industry is simply outrunning reality at this point.
And that is the core tension we absolutely need to resolve here because, well, the velocity of the software development is one thing, right? But how that acceleration actually impacts businesses, our physical infrastructure, and human society as a whole, that is where the real story lies.
For sure.
So I want us to map out exactly what happens when frictionless software innovation just collides with a very slow, very heavy physical world.
I really want to get into that collision, but I feel like if we are going to look at Chen's argument objectively, we have to start by acknowledging the ground this tech has already covered.
Yeah, we have to give credit where it's due.
Right, because the article makes it very clear that before we ask if AI is moving too fast, we kind of have to admit that the results are very real. Like, we are way past the era of chatbots just writing funny haikus.
Oh, absolutely. We have firmly moved past that novelty phase.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the healthcare sector, Chen points out that medical providers are no longer just experimenting. They are actively using AI to identify diseases significantly earlier than humanly possible.
Which is wild to think about.
It is. But what's fascinating here isn't just the claim itself, it's the mechanism behind it. They are using deep learning models to analyze medical imagery, so like MRIs and X-rays, at a granular pixel-by-pixel level.
Right, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, an AI doesn't look at an X-ray the way a human doctor does, right? It's not looking for a visible shadow on the film.
Exactly, no. The human eye has biological limits. We just can't see everything. But the AI is mapping these subtle mathematical gradients and pixel variations that are practically invisible to us. And then it cross-references those microscopic patterns against millions of historical scans in just a fraction of a second.
That is just incredible.
It really is. That is exactly how it detects the earliest structural formations of tumors. And it is also massively accelerating drug discovery by predicting how millions of different chemical compounds will fold and interact with human proteins.
And it does that without having to synthesize them in a physical lab first.
Exactly. It saves years of trial and error.
That alone is just paradigm shifting. But if we pivot away from medicine for a second, I see in Chen's research that the financial sector is seeing massive operational shifts too.
Oh, huge shifts.
But I'm curious, we've had fraud alerts on our credit cards for decades, What is the AI actually doing differently here today?
Well, historically, fraud detection was strictly rules-based.
Okay.
So if a transaction happened in 2 different countries within an hour, the system flagged it. It was very rigid. But today, institutions are deploying AI for dynamic, real-time pattern recognition.
So it's more fluid.
Exactly. The model actually understands context now. It analyzes your unique behavior, the device you're using, micro-fluctuations in your transaction timing, and global threat data all simultaneously.
Oh, wow. So it's not just checking a box.
Right. It doesn't just look at the rule.
Right.
It understands the baseline behavior of the user. And that drastically reduces false positives and automates incredibly complex compliance tasks behind the scenes.
Makes sense. And when you look at manufacturing, they are deploying something kind of similar with predictive maintenance, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because the article mentions predicting equipment failures before a machine ever actually breaks down. I imagine that relies on like physical sensors feeding data back to the models.
Precisely. You have acoustic and vibration sensors attached to industrial drill bits or, assembly line motors. And the AI just monitors the continuous time series data from those sensors.
So it's listening to the machines.
Basically, yeah. It learns what a healthy vibration sounds like.
Yeah.
So weeks before a gear physically snaps, it detects this microscopic acoustic anomaly, like a tiny shift in frequency.
And then it flags it.
Right. It flags the part for replacement during scheduled downtime. And the sheer amount of money saved by preventing an unexpected factory shutdown, I mean, it runs into the millions annually for a single plant.
It's just massive. And, even if you aren't running a giant factory or curing diseases, the day-to-day operations across normal corporate environments have completely transformed too.
Oh, everywhere.
Like, customer service is now heavily supported by intelligent agents handling complex routing 24 hours a day. Software developers are relying on AI copilots to write foundational code. Marketers are generating highly personalized campaigns in literally minutes.
It's touching every department.
It really is. Looking at all this, it reminds me of that historical shift from typewriters to word processor.
Oh, how do you mean?
Well, at first, a word processor probably felt like a luxury, right? Or maybe a neat trick for the early adopters in the office.
Sure, like a fun gadget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But very quickly, the entire workflow of the modern office shifted. It wasn't a question of whether you should use a word processor, but rather how fast you could integrate it into your daily routine just to stay relevant.
Yeah, you had to adapt.
Right. Because if you were still clacking away on a typewriter, you fundamentally could not keep up with the output of your peers.
That is a perfect analogy. Because synthesizing all these examples from Chen's article, what we're seeing is that for successful organizations, AI has shifted from this speculative experiment into a strict operational necessity.
It's sink or swim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is the primary engine driving productivity and aggressive cost reduction today.
Okay, let's unpack this, though. Because if AI is this undeniable operational necessity, I am looking at a massive contradiction in Chen's data here.
Uh-oh, let's hear it.
Well, if it's so essential, why are so many massive corporations completely failing to see any return on their investment? The article highlights an enormous disconnect between these grand, sweeping announcements executives make in the boardroom and the harsh reality on the ground floor.
Yes. Yes, the industry phrase for this is getting stuck in pilot purgatory.
Pilot purgatory. I love that phrase.
It's very accurate.
It is. But I want to push back on the corporate mindset here a little bit, because I look at these Fortune 500 companies and I just assume they have the resources to figure this out.
You would think so, yeah.
So are these executives just suffering from severe FOMO? Are they buying the shiniest, most expensive tech without defining any actual business objectives for it?
Honestly, a lot of them absolutely are.
Seriously.
Yes. And what's fascinating here is that Chen addresses this organizational blindness directly in the piece. He lays out what he calls the 4 stages of AI adoption. And this framework really exposes the mechanical reasons why these massive companies get completely stuck.
Oh, let's run through those stages. I really want to know where the trapdoors are.
Okay, so the first stage is simply hype.
Hype.
Yeah, and this is driven entirely by FOMO.
Yeah.
A company sees their competitors making headlines, so they announce a massive AI initiative. The primary business question being asked at this stage is literally just, should we use AI?
Yeah.
And the only real metric for success is awareness. It's PR.
So they are literally buying the tech just to say they have the tech.
Exactly. It's a press release. Then comes stage 2, which is pilots. This is where organizations spin up small, isolated projects, like maybe they build an internal chatbot for HR to answer vacation questions.
Okay, that sounds somewhat useful.
It is, but the question shifts to, can this technology actually solve a specific problem? And the success metric is just getting a working prototype. But this, stage 2, this is the purgatory. This is where most companies just hit a brick wall.
But why, though? Like, if the prototype works, why can't they just roll it out to the rest of the company? What is the actual friction preventing them from moving to stage 3?
Because to get to stage 3, which Chen defines as productivity, you have to actually integrate the AI into daily enterprise workflows. The question has to become, is this saving us time and money?
Right, the actual ROI.
Exactly. And the reason companies fail here is that they fundamentally misunderstand how large language models, or LLMs, actually interact with corporate data.
Explain that for me, because let's say I'm a massive logistics company. Why can't I just take my internal data and plug it into a state-of-the-art LLM?
Okay, so think of a large language model, like an incredibly brilliant, extremely fast-reading librarian.
Okay.
But if you show that librarian into a dark warehouse where millions of unlabeled documents, old PDFs, disorganized emails, and fragmented spreadsheets are just dumped on the floor in random piles.
The librarian has no idea what to do.
Right. The librarian cannot help you. And corporate data is historically a complete mess. It is unstructured, it's siloed across different departments.
So the AI is perfectly capable, but the data it's being fed is basically a digital hoarder's garage.
Precisely. For an AI to reliably retrieve and synthesize internal company information, that data has to be meticulously cleaned, structured, and converted into formats the AI can actually understand, like vector databases.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It requires massive data engineering. So the real hurdle in Pilot Purgatory isn't the software itself. The hurdle is organizational readiness.
Man, it's like trying to drop a Formula One engine into a beat-up golf cart and just expecting to win a Grand Prix.
That is exactly it.
You can't just buy the engine. You have to upgrade the transmission, the tires, the chassis, just to handle the raw power.
And in a corporate setting, upgrading the chassis means implementing strict data governance, overhauling cybersecurity.
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
Protocols, so the AI doesn't accidentally leak sensitive HR data to the whole company.
Oh, yeah. That would be a disaster.
A total disaster. And you have to fundamentally retrain your workforce. You have to completely redesign legacy business processes. But if you can actually do that, you finally reach stage 4, which is profitability.
Where the AI actually becomes a competitive advantage.
Right, where it creates long-term shareholder value and market leadership.
Right.
But crossing that chasm requires painful systemic internal changes.
But here's where it gets really interesting to me. Let's say a company actually does all that. They clean their data, they train their employees, they redesign all their workflows. The cruel joke of Chen's article is that by the time you finish building the perfect system for today's AI, the target has completely moved.
Yes, the speed of innovation is terrifyingly fast, and it just compounds on itself.
It really does. Because the article highlights how we are moving aggressively into multimodal systems now.
Right.
And for anyone listening who isn't deep in the weeds on this, multimodal simply means the AI doesn't just read and write text anymore. It can process text, analyze high-resolution images, listen to audio, and watch video simultaneously, and it draws connections across all of them at once.
It's a massive leap forward.
It is. And we are also seeing the rise of AI agents, right? Systems that don't just answer a prompt, but they can independently execute multi-step tasks across different software programs.
Yeah, and robotics are becoming fully autonomous by integrating these exact same spatial reasoning models.
Right. So to go back to my transportation analogies earlier, it's like a company is spending millions of dollars trying to lay down tracks for a high-speed train. Okay.
But while they are out there hammering the spikes into the ground, the train suddenly upgrades into an airplane.
Oh, man.
And suddenly, all those expensive tracks they just spent years building are completely useless.
That is the exact innovation dilemma businesses are facing today. I mean, do you deploy today's AI knowing full well it will likely be obsolete in 6 to 8 months?
Or do you wait?
Exactly. Do you wait for tomorrow's inevitable improvements?
It feels like a lose-lose scenario, honestly. Because if thou wait, your competitors pull ahead and eat your market share. But if you move too quickly, you risk stranding millions of dollars in capital on technology that gets superseded before it ever generates a positive return on investment.
It is a totally paralyzing choice for executives right now. But this is where Chen drops a detail that completely changes the perspective on this entire global race.
Oh, the bottleneck.
Yes, we keep talking about software accelerating, but the ultimate bottleneck dictating the future of this industry isn't the software engineers at all. This was the most surprising part of the deep dive for me. Just this idea that the digital revolution is literally crashing into a physical wall.
It is the great irony of the current AI boom. We tend to think of artificial intelligence as this invisible, ethereal thing living effortlessly in the cloud,
Right, it's just code in the air.
Exactly. But the AI revolution demands a massive, heavy, intensely physical footprint. The software is innovating faster than the physical world can actually support it.
So walk me through the mechanics of that. Why does a digital algorithm need so much physical space?
It really comes down to how these models are built and run. Modern AI models have hundreds of billions, sometimes trillions of parameters.
Wow.
And parameters are essentially the internal variables and connections the AI uses to make decisions. So every time you ask a complex model a question, it has to perform billions of mathematical calculations instantly.
Just to give you an answer.
Right. And doing that requires colossal data centers filled with the most advanced semiconductors on the planet.
The hardware that actually does the heavy lifting?
Exactly. This is why companies like TSMC and NVIDIA are the most valuable entities in the supply chain right now. They manufacture those specialized chips.
Right, the GPUs.
Yeah. But it's not just the processors either. Chen highlights companies like SK Hynix who manufacture high-bandwidth memory.
Oh, interesting. Why memory?
Because you could have the fastest processor in the entire world, but if you can't see data into that processor fast enough, the chip just sits idle.
Oh, I see. So you need massive server racks, densely packed with both incredibly powerful processors and high-speed memory.
Yes.
And when you pack that much computing power into a small physical space,
It generates an astonishing amount of heat.
right.
Which means these data centers require aggressive liquid cooling systems, which in turn require millions of gallons of water. And most importantly, running those chips and those cooling systems requires staggering amounts of electricity.
Which totally flips the entire hierarchy of the tech world on its head, doesn't it?
It really does.
Because Chen notes that due to this energy draw, the new power players aren't just software developers in Silicon Valley anymore.
Not at all.
The most critical players in the AI economy right now are commercial real estate developers who can secure the land and local power utilities that can actually generate enough electricity to run these massive facilities.
The future of global artificial intelligence might literally depend on whether a local power company can quickly upgrade a regional electrical substation.
That is insane. For anyone listening who just assumes their apps will keep getting smarter magically, this is a massive reality check. The digital revolution is being actively bottlenecked by concrete, water rights, and copper wire.
It perfectly illustrates how intertwined the virtual and physical worlds have become. I mean, you simply cannot scale global intelligence without scaling physical power and infrastructure first.
Right. So what does this all mean for the societal systems we rely on? Because if the software is outpacing the physical power grid, it is definitively outpacing the absolute slowest moving systems humanity has, which are society, government, and the law.
Yeah, that is the ultimate lag. And Chen dives really deep into this societal friction. Let's look at regulation, for example, which is the most obvious pain point.
Sure.
Governments all over the world are scrambling to establish guardrails for AI.
Yeah.
But lawmakers operate on timelines of years.
Right.
So how do you draft legislation for a technology that fundamentally alters its own capabilities every single month?
It's basically an impossible task. You are trying to pass a law regulating a specific capability, and by the time the bill gets out of committee, the technology has already evolved completely past the scope of the legislation.
Exactly. And as a result, massive structural societal questions remain entirely unresolved. Like, we have no clear legal consensus on data privacy when an AI ingests personal information.
Or copyright stuff, right?
Oh, definitely. Intellectual property and copyright issues regarding how these models are trained on artists' and authors' work. It is a complete legal minefield right now.
Not to mention the liabilities surrounding autonomous decision-making. Because if an AI agent executes a trade that crashes a financial market or misdiagnoses a patient, the legal framework for accountability is incredibly murky. Like, who do you sue?
Exactly. It is in its absolute infancy. Finding a balance between allowing rapid innovation to flourish while still enforcing responsible oversight, I mean, that is going to define the regulatory landscape for the next decade.
And it isn't just the lawmakers who are struggling to adapt to the reality of this tech, it's the capital markets, too. I noticed Chen pointing out a pretty significant shift in investor sentiment lately.
Yes, a very noticeable shift.
Is the honeymoon phase over? Like, are investors no longer just blindly throwing money at any startup with .ai in their URL?
Well, the capital is still flowing at historic levels, make no mistake.
Right.
But investors are getting significantly more sophisticated.
They are wising up.
Yeah, they're actively trying to separate the companies that actually possess durable, sustainable, competitive advantages from the ones that are merely using, like, AI APIs as a shiny marketing wrapper.
I see.
The market is shifting its demands.
Yeah.
Execution is starting to matter far more than excitement. Demonstrating actual revenue, enterprise adoption, and a clear path to profitability, that is becoming the new baseline, rather than just showing off an impressive tech demo.
It's maturing. But beyond the investors and the regulators, we have to talk about the human element here.
Of course.
Because for you, the person listening right now, this is probably the most vital question. What happens to the human worker? Are these hyper-advanced tools going to augment us, making us faster and more capable, or are they going to replace whole sectors of employment entirely?
Well, historically, disruptive technology always does both, right?
Right.
The automation of the loom replaced weavers, but it created the broader textile industry. The internet eliminated certain roles while creating entirely new sectors of the economy. But the crucial caveat here is the velocity of the disruption.
The speed.
Yes, artificial intelligence is driving this shift at a pace humanity have never previously experienced.
Which just forces us to ask if our institutions can handle it. I mean, can a university update its curriculum fast enough? Can a corporation realistically retrain its workforce before the core responsibilities of those jobs fundamentally change all over again?
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the profound philosophical synthesis that Philip Chen offers at the end of his piece.
Right.
When we feel exhausted by this, when we ask if AI is moving too fast, we almost always point our fingers at the algorithms. We blame the math.
Sure.
But AI isn't moving too fast just because the code is accelerating.
Yeah.
It feels too fast because every single foundational pillar of human society, our legal frameworks, our educational systems, our corporate structures, and even our physical power grids must evolve alongside it simultaneously.
It is a systemic shock. We aren't just adopting a new tool, we are attempting to upgrade the entire operating system of society in real time while the engine is still running.
Exactly, which is why the race is no longer just about which tech giant can hoard the most compute to build a language model with the highest number of parameters.
So, to synthesize all of this, the true winner of the AI race, whether we are talking about a trillion-dollar multinational corporation or just an individual professional trying to navigate their career, it isn't necessarily the one with the biggest, most expensive model.
Not at all.
The winner is going to be the organization or the person who can take this raw, rapidly evolving intelligence, navigate the friction of the real world, and transform it into sustainable, measurable value. It is entirely about the capacity to adapt to unrelenting change.
It is about execution, readiness, and resilience.
Yeah.
The technology undeniably works.
Yeah.
The productivity gains are highly measurable, and the scientific breakthroughs we are seeing are accelerating. The question we need to be asking is no longer whether AI is capable. The question is whether our physical infrastructure, our legacy data, and our human institutions are prepared to harness what it can actually do.
Which brings us directly back to you listening right now. We started this deep dive by talking about that feeling of absolute exhaustion, right? The frustration of finally mastering a tool just in time for it to become totally obsolete. It's real.
It is. But Philip Chen's article makes it incredibly clear that the biggest bottleneck for AI right now isn't the software itself. The bottleneck is the underlying infrastructure and organizational readiness.
Exactly.
So I want to leave you with this to mull over today. Looking at your own life and your own career, what does your personal infrastructure look like?
Oh, I love that question.
Right. Instead of just sitting back feeling overwhelmed and nervously waiting to see what the next big AI model might do to your industry, how are you upgrading your own foundation? How are you actively improving your own adaptability and readiness to ensure that no matter how fast the technology moves, you are prepared for whatever comes next?
That is exactly the right mindset to cultivate. You cannot control the speed of the innovation, but you have absolute control over your readiness to harness it.
A vital perspective for the road ahead. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive and for bringing your curiosity to the table. We will catch you next time.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding, and it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.